This is gonna be a while, so let's buckle up. How one community note ended this smug artist's career. I don't want to say that a smug artist having a downfall is a good thing, but you know, some people like to watch stuff like that. Anyways, it is what it is. Anyways, watch.
Human ingenuity is what allowed our species to overcome our biggest challenges through creativity.
I can't wait for one of these days for Mujin's video to start with like the beginning of him giving an entire explicit detail of how the world came to be, and that'll somehow lead into like somebody diddling somebody.
Creativity and resourcefulness.
Because he always goes that far back.
Distant ancestors to make the discovery of fire, and it's what most recently gave us access to the forbidden skies, allowing us to fly. And while throughout history,
Just say that sounds like whatever.
there are many different examples of these incredible discoveries, it is in my humble opinion that our best discovery yet is probably pastries. That's right, whether that be a pain au chocolat, croissant, beignet, éclair, you.
It's like, oh my God, he's gotten away with being French for too long. In my opinion, he's gotten away with being French too long. At some point, we need to have that uncomfortable conversation that Mujin is French. Anyways, go ahead.
Name it, there are very few things that can compare. And while France is easily the best place in the world to get any type of pastry, its residents, more specifically over the
Is France the best place to get anything? No, whatever.
last few years, would have to come face to face with this industry's biggest, darkest secret. Industrial pastries, more notably, the croissant. Now look, this was a big deal. When you're going to a bakery, the expectation is that you'd be receiving something made in-house in the morning, fresh.
Am I in the right video? Apparently I am, yeah.
Delivered right into your hands. These bakeries, though, were selling these pre-frozen pastries under the guise of them being fresh, without giving any indication or disclaimer that they're pre-frozen, essentially scamming you. I mean, this was scandalous. It even led to the creation of a new label that certifies that, hey, this bakery actually does everything by hand. We don't use frozen products. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't take a genius to understand this problem. Why would I pay the same exact price, sometimes even more, for something that is pre-frozen when I could just use that same money to buy something made fresh in the morning? For the consumer, this didn't make any damn sense. That's simple to understand, right? Well, apparently, to some artists these days, this concept cannot get through their thick skulls for some reason. And when I say artists, I'm talking specifically about Gami, an art.
Wait, she follows you. What? Wait.
Artist that started her activity 6 years ago and was well known in the VTuber community.
Well, to be fair, we all follow Mujin. Or, you know, you guys all follow Mujin. I don't follow Mujin. I did follow Mujin, then I got banned.
Someone who very staunchly and publicly constantly opposed AI usage in art, calling out anyone who dared to use AI with their art or who faked the fact that they actually drew it. In fact, she would go even further and would draw an entire meme saying, maybe I make ugly drawings, but at least I don't use AI.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm so bad at art, I might as well just not even try and use AI. I'm not going to, mind you. I just don't do either. But I'm just saying I am that bad at art that honestly, it would save us all. It would save us all the time, and it'd be better if I used AI.
And guess what? This post would go absolutely viral, but not because of the meme itself. It would go viral because of the very humiliating community note that will be attached to it, destroying any ounce of her reputation in one day. And that's without mentioning the 2 Google Docs that were written about
Google
her.
Docky.
Now look, I've made a lot of videos about people getting community noted on Twitter, okay? But this right here might be the most merciless one yet. This is why I figured we had to...
Kirsha herself is tempted to do so because of how many times she's been scammed by artists. Am I just lucky that I've not been scammed? Or I shouldn't say I'm lucky that I've not been scammed. Am I lucky that I just not had any money to pay for scabs so I don't get scammed? I've legitimately maybe commissioned like 3 or 4 art pieces. That's it. And like most of them are from one artist.
Talk about it. Before we step into this, just know that you can use the code Mujin for 10% off anything on the gamersubs.gg website. And now, without further ado, let's do this.
Code Mujin, everybody.
All right, so let's get one thing straight. Tracing has been a problem in the art community for many years, even before ChatGPT and other AI tools came out. The art community consensus about tracing was that it was okay if you were trying to learn, but immoral if you were trying to make it seem like it was your own work. And we didn't really need AI for that to be a problem. In fact, one could go back as recently as November 9th, 2025, when Hisashi Iguchi, one of the most well-renowned artists in Japan, would be exposed as having traced for, well, his entire fucking career. This guy's drawings were top of the game. You'd find them in exhibitions, you'd have companies hiring him to make posters out of them, and yet it turned out that the drawing he had made for the Chuline Culture Festival in 2025 was nothing more than him taking the picture of a woman on social media and just tracing over it. Quickly afterwards, people would start analyzing his past work, and it would turn out to not be.
Which here's the crazy thing, right? If you're going to, which I'm not condoning tracing like this, right? To trace over something and put it off as your own art, I'm not condoning that. I'm just saying, if you were going to do that, why would you do something that you know would go back to you, right? Like if you go out and you take a picture yourself, don't post it anywhere and then trace that, I feel like that would probably be a better outcome, right? Because these are famous pictures. Somebody's gonna recognize that pose and be like, wait, that's me, or something like that. And this is from a magazine. Surely someone had seen it before this, right?
An isolated incident. The guy has been doing this for his entire career, taking pictures all over the internet or by photographers and just claiming that it was something that came from his own head.
Why did you not? You've probably made a bunch of money. Buy a camera and then just trace it after.
This is very significant because even before the widespread use of AI, I could have very easily taken any of these images that he had taken, put them through some drawing filter, and made it seem like I drew it myself, okay? The inherent problem with tracing, or hell, you can call it just cheating, is that it's very easily detectable if it's done by an amateur, but very hard to prove if it's done by someone who actually knows how to draw. This has always been the case. And while we could, to a certain extent, cross-reference images that were traced before AI, that is no longer the case, because just about anyone can just generate any image they want, and it would be a unique image, one that doesn't exist anywhere else.
Wow.
So even if someone does trace, you can't prove it by cross-referencing their illustration to the original image. You have to prove it in other ways, and that typically requires a lot of effort, most notably, well, a Google Doc. This is where Gami comes in. An artist that has been active for the last 6 years and also happens to stream as a VTuber. She grew her following like, well, most artists would, drawing well-known VTubers and content creators, as well as participating in viral art trends.
I'm not saying, listen, I'm not
drawing
saying
well-known VTubers and content creators, as well as
I'm not saying I participate in these specifically. I'm just saying sometimes the first art just looks good. And I'm like, all right, I'll like
participating in viral art trends.
Yeah.
This would lead her to get followed by many of these VTubers that she drew, okay? Some of them very big. And as an artist, if you get followed by some of these top guys, well, you get legitimized. People look at you and think, oh, well, if this person follows them, then they must be an actual real artist that does work all the time,
give up that information with under no pressure.
This, which would then lead her to open up her commissions. This is where VGen comes in, a website that gained huge prominence within the VTuber community, but now pretty much.
Is this model the one that I think it is? That one, you see that one to my left of my head? Is that what I think it is? I don't know, the eyes look similar.
Exists for just about anyone. What makes it unique is that it doesn't support any sort of AI usage, doesn't sell user data, and doesn't display ads. It also happens to be very
although I think VGen really needs to crack down on like who can sign up, because there's been a whole thing with the gacha community where some CCs had people make VGens in their name. That was really weird. That was a whole thing. Don't worry about it, chat.
Exclusive. In order to create an account to sell things on the platform, you need a code. That referral code can only be acquired in one of 6 different ways, but getting a code is only the first hurdle. After you actually create your account, you have to go through multiple criteria in order to get verified by an actual real human being that will make sure that you are legit. And guess who had an account on VG? Gami. She'd be charging up to $60 for a basic colored sketch, $30 for a Twitch emote, and
for the lick?
$150 for a square-sized
God
image meant to
damn,
be
bro.
used as a profile picture on
You know what? I take it back. I'm going to learn to draw. I take it back.
social media. These prices just so happen to be industry standard, okay? There's nothing crazy about that.
Industry standard is $150 for an icon? I'm in the wrong business. I need to learn how to draw. Goodness gracious, brother. Listen, again, I'm not saying I would use AI, but like what are these prices, bro? You know what? I'm never getting 150 is the standard. I'm never getting art again. I found that out the hard way. Well, there's a soul crushing reality. I'm never getting any art again. That's fine. Whatever. Well, unfortunate. What's up, Meiji?
Some people charge less, some people charge more. But when you pay $150 for a profile picture, you're expecting to, get something made by a human being. That was what people thought they were getting. In fact, on January 28th, 2026, Gami would make sure to push this idea to her audience and anyone who might see this post on Twitter. She'd post this very simple meme saying, maybe I make ugly drawings, but at least I don't use AI.
Chat again. What do I tell you guys over and over again? Do not, under any circumstance, virtue signal, because people will look back from the day you are born till now to see if at any single point you have messed up. Do not buy into it. It's fast followers and nice attention. Do not do it. It is not worth it under any circumstance.
One of the replies to her post would be some really terrible AI slop. She'd make sure to reply to it with vomiting emojis. And here's the deal, right? This post for like almost more than 20 days would have no community note. Gami would go on to continue posting art and living her life. She could have never expected that on February 18th, 2026, the user Ruru would quote tweet that meme she made about how she didn't use AI and would say, yeah, about that. Gami has been using AI in her workflow and selling commissions. Read. Linking.
Surely by that, they mean she asks AI random questions, right? Surely it doesn't mean that they helped her do the art, correct?
A Google Doc. It will be around 16 pages long. And I have to say, look, maybe I love these artist dramas because this Google Doc is, of course, very well formatted, as you would expect. It would start off with disclaimer. Do not send hate to Gami. This is merely for informing potential supporters and commissioners of the dishonesty about her workflow, including generative AI. This document and Gami's accounts contain suggestive/NSFW content. Great. I'm going to have a lot of fun censoring this video. So look, this document mentions something very important in the beginning. The reason why this is such a big deal is because this person, Gami, was charging money while using AI. This is very dishonest. When you're paying an artist money, you're hiring them for their talent, not for what some generative machine can make out of like a million convoluted drawings that it stole off the internet. The next part here would be introduction. First things first, please read knowing Gami herself has admitted to using AI in her workflow. Back in December 30th, 2024, someone would DM her, Gami, are you using AI as reference for your art? To which she would reply, I do sometimes, yes, but I draw them again with my own two hands, lol. I don't like taking them as literal references.
Surely she means like a verbal reference, right? Like a Chuck Norris joke, like that kind of reference? Surely not like an artist reference, right?
Okay, cool. I guess we're done. I mean, why is there 17 pages here? This is it. I mean,
maybe
what
not.
else do you want? Well, I guess we'll find out.
No, I'm
The
wrong.
document continues. Now with this in mind, I will show you why I think she wasn't only using references here and there, but one-to-one references.
Here's my question. Can people tell if you use a reference and then just trace over it? Because it's an AI art. Can people find it if you generate art? Because like if you generate art, just don't post it anywhere and no one will find it, right? Is that how that works? Or am I dumb? Or am I thinking too hard? Am I not thinking hard enough about it? I don't know. It's an interesting question.
Referencing or possibly tracing for a lot of her viral artworks. And also that she sells commissions using AI without disclosing it to this day. I will
Can't wait to
document her
finish it
daily
early.
posts and
Nice.
artworks as well as conversations with her. This is where we get to the next section titled Documentation. Gami joined my Discord
Google
server around the
Docky.
start of October 2025. Shortly after, some of my members messaged me privately to warn me about her AI usage and her past drama, since I don't allow Gen AI in my server. I didn't want to assume things, so I took a good look at Gami's artworks and then decided it was best to ask her directly than to jump to conclusions. The messages are in Turkish, but you will have translations. Translations
okay,
are
cool.
in purple. Some parts are blurred due to privacy of third parties and to not bring back past drama that has already been settled. Alright, so here we can see Ruru asking in Turkish,
wondering what the
3
past drama
things were
is.
brought up to me, and the people who brought them up will remain anonymous to avoid creating any drama. I think they mentioned these issues because they became worried when they saw that you joined my
I should
server and
always-
they
I
felt
don't
the
know.
need to
Don't ask
warn
me.
So the first 2 issues are blurred. I guess they have nothing to do with this drama. And then the third one is,
Sure.
the last issue is the claim that you are tracing using AI. Of course, there's no proof of that, and proving it is almost impossible these days. It's because both Clip Studio and Procreate have a feature to hide the reference layer when speed painting. I looked at your drawings a bit. Even though we follow each other, I'd never actually stalked your drawings before, and I personally found a few of your drawings suspicious, which is why I wanted to ask you. If you want, I can show you the reasons for my suspicions through the drawings, and we can discuss it in more detail. This is when Gami would reply with, the AI tracing issue also arose because I was heavily referencing. I'm constantly sharing how I draw in the process anyway. I stopped referencing heavily quite a while ago. The document would continue, since she claimed she stopped heavily referencing quite a while ago, I showed her some of her recent illustrations that I found suspicious. So in this drawing we can see some sort of a puppy girl laying down on the bed, and the feet look very oddly suspicious, as if made by AI. Ruru also felt the need to mention that even
Oh, is it because they look like AI? I thought it was like it's the only thing that doesn't look like AI. Like this is her actual drawing, and that's why it looks weird, because it's like a different. Also, how many toes she got? 1, 2, 4, 5. Okay, so she ain't got no extra toes, or does she? I don't know.
to this day, this drawing remains the banner of her Patreon.
Right.
And I mean, seriously, like these feet look very AI, like very
I can't even say they look like I drew it, because it's way better than what I could draw.
suspicious. Ruru would then say she deleted this art post after this conversation, but still uses it as her banner on Patreon. I raised my concerns about how her anatomy knowledge and
that
coloring
Yoshi?
skills didn't match. Some parts, like feet and hands, are drawn messily despite the rest having pretty good anatomy. This is common with AI tracers/users. Her art skills also suddenly spiked after some point. This led me to believe these art pieces weren't only referenced, but one-to-one or traced. So on the left, we can see a drawing made by Gami on September 2024. And yeah, I mean, it's not bad. It's decent. It's nothing like incredible, right? It's not something that will belong in a gallery anytime soon, but it is what it is. However, 3 months later, on December 2024, she would make a fan art of Yaklesh, a well-known artist and VTuber. And here we can
She's also very nice. I've met Yoshi. She also had like some insane style. Like what? She had like a super cool black dress on. It was really cool. That's what I remember. I met her at TwitchCon because one of my friends has a model from her. She's really cool. She's a cool person. She's really sweet.
truly see the incredible difference. This is progress that usually takes place over years, and there she was just, making it look easy, as if she just learned everything in 3 months.
Right.
We also see another example of a drawing that looks really good, but the fingers are just weird. Something that AI
Something about the
infamously does all the damn
fingies.
time. The document then continues.
It's the
Artists will
fingies.
probably understand that the drawing above, now deleted, has pretty good anatomy overall, yet the same level of skill doesn't apply to the hand. This issue is common in her drawings. She also came to my server a couple times to share her screen while drawing to prove herself, but she never sketched something from scratch.
The thing about that is, like, isn't hands and feet like really notoriously hard to do? Question mark. I don't know. That'd be my guess. Again, I have no idea. You guys are gonna have to tell me. I don't know. I don't draw.
It was always something that was already drawn and halfway colored. She then sent me a speed paint as proof, but the speed paint didn't have a sketch and she drew things mostly without guidelines. For example, drawing the lines for the legs without a guide and other similar things. It was not very convincing, as you can just hide the reference layer and pretend like you drew it.
Yeah.
So that's another thing with tracers, right? The idea that they just draw things out of thin air, when even some of the best artists in the world will still use reference layers.
He means Tracer from Overwatch.
They don't immediately just draw a face and eyes like it's nothing. No, they'll actually take the time to reference where everything will be and then do that. I then showed her art on the right. God damn, I gotta censor that.
I'm so okay. Thank you, Mujin, for censoring that because, man, I was not ready for that. That came out of nowhere. That just like came full speed out of nowhere from the right. Go ahead.
Saying drawing something like this requires a lot
Before
of skill,
October,
and people
August,
who draw
okay.
in color like she did on the left cannot draw like
Tummy
the right picture
spotted.
two at the same time. These two drawings are a few months apart despite there being a huge skill gap. So again, the same thing we saw in 2024, we're seeing again in 2025. In August, she would draw something that clearly has bad anatomy, right? If we're talking about the elbow and the hand, as well as amateur-like coloring compared to the one on her right, which was posted just a few months later and looks insane. This is what you get after like drawing for 10 years, man. It's wild. And it's a shame that you can't really fully see it. Sorry, it's YouTube, not me. She then kept insisting that she knows how to draw, arguing she has traditional art she can show. And here we can see yet another conversation in Turkish between Ruru and Gami taking place in October 2025 after Gami had posted that very interesting drawing that I had to censor. Ruru would say, I repeat, this isn't about not being able to draw. That's why it's harder to distinguish when artists use it. But for example, when we go back in your gallery, there aren't any anatomy drawings like this or close to it. It's as if you suddenly drew it so well. Especially if you go back to before the year AI became widespread, the drawings look quite different. It might be one of the drawings you heavily referenced, as you said. It might be referenced from AI. To which Gami would say, yes, I'm referencing AI. The document would continue. Here she admits to referencing AI for her work again. She doesn't disclose this on her VGen or any of her socials. It's well known that using AI in any way isn't accepted by VGen. She also sells commissions there, meaning she has been and still is selling AI-assisted artwork without disclosing it. So far, she had admitted to using AI for references. I asked to see the...
My question is, does it still count as... No, because you're just tracing it, right? Also, man, this language looks so hard to read. I was going to say, sorry about that. I guess it's not really considered you doing the art because you're just tracing over something, right? That's not even drawing anything.
References she used to check for tracing. Here we can see Ruru saying, can I see the reference used for this image? Gami would reply with, I don't save the photos, Ruru, sad face. To which Ruru would say, using a one-to-one reference isn't good either because it's not much different from tracing. To which Gami would say, I realized that too. After that, I completely removed that incident, which is referencing, from my life. Now I just pose in my head and use 3D models. Ruru would then say, it looks like you're regretting using heavy references. Gami would say, no, seriously, being called AI really hurt my pride. Ruru says, if you take a one-to-one reference from AI, it's perfectly normal for people to say that it looks like AI because it becomes AI indirectly.
Right. That's what that makes sense.
I never thought of it that way because I drew it myself, but you're right. The document would continue and say she didn't have any references to show, and here she says she thought because she redrew the AI pictures, it still meant it was her own art. Despite all that,
here's the thing. I don't know if it's because I'm really tired or what it is. I also kind of thought of that for a second, but once I started thinking about it again, I realized that no, that wouldn't really make it your art because you're still taking what the AI did and then just tracing over it, right? So it's not like an original artwork, if you want to call it that, right? If you want to say that AI isn't really original art, I guess it wouldn't be original art then because you're just like copying it, right? It's almost like, I'm trying to think of a good example. You know, the closest thing I can think of is like Vanilla Ice. Like Vanilla Ice when he did a sample of Under Pressure, and he just so happened to do it one extra, maybe off beat, you know, dun 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 dun. His is dun 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 or whatever he says. It's like, no, you still technically stole it, right? Like it's still the same thing. You still stole it.
It looked like she regretted using AI.
Want to see the art I made?
But even
sure.
after saying she stopped and being associated with AI hurt her pride, she still had drawings that were AI assisted posted on her socials like Twitter, VGen, and Patreon, of course undisclosed. I felt like she wasn't being honest. This is where we see their Discord conversation continuing, with Ruru asking, but if this situation upsets you and bothers you so much, why are these drawings still on your page? People who see them can just dismiss them as AI. Gami would reply to this saying, I don't usually have a habit of deleting posts. Sad face. I generally post them and then forget they exist. But you're right, it would be good if I deleted them. This is when Ruru would link one of her arts and say, and for...
Did she delete them? Don't just be like, huh, you're right. I should not do it. Anyway, like, what did you delete them? I don't understand.
For example, even though you said you stopped taking heavy references, a post of yours from May 2025. The no-name fan art looks like it's referenced. Unless you decided to stop using AI 2 to 3 months ago or so, this post makes your claim about you quitting using AI not convincing, because you posted the AI referenced art for personal promotion. Gami would reply and say, I talked to No Name about the situation too, I explained myself, I also apologized if it looked that way. Ruru would specify in the document in parentheses, she did not apologize, confirmed with No Name. Gami would then say, and yes, I quit about 2 months ago, to which Ruru in the document in parentheses would say, which means she says she quit using AI in August 2025. Gami would end this conversation by saying, I understand how it looks, I'll remove the images I heavily referenced, I don't want to look like an artist who uses AI. The document continues and says she then went to her profile and deleted some of her artwork on her Twitter, but she did not delete any from her VGen and Patreon, which should be prioritary since it's where clients look. So here you go. Under pressure, she decided to delete the very AI-inspired artworks from her Twitter, but not from the platforms where people pay her money to draw.
That's really good.
So essentially, she did nothing to fix the situation. So Ruru in the document would continue with, she said she stopped. So why did I make this document?
Right.
I wanted to trust her, so I let this matter go for a while, hoping for a good change. But recently, I came across some of her posts on my Twitter feed and wanted to check. I saw that her VGen still had verified commissions that had AI involved in the workflow in her portfolio, and she posted suspicious art again on her socials. She said she regretted using AI and did delete some of her most recent AI-assisted works from Twitter/X. She said she stopped in August 2025.
Man, I guess... I guess it actually takes like an artist to notice this stuff, right? Because when I looked at it, I thought the feet looked weird, right? But I thought it was inverse. I thought the feet were like was the only thing she drew, instead of the other way around. Man, and maybe it'll fool like the general public when people make it. That's really weird, or that's really bad, I should say. And I guess if she never got caught and wasn't getting called out for it, you're kind of committed at that point, right? No, because she still could have came back from that if she just didn't. No, but then she has her VGen, right? It's kind of hard to say. I still think it would have been better just to just to cut it off, cut it, and just be honest, right?
But to this day, she still uses AI on some of her commissions in her VGen portfolio and still posts on her alt. She's also running a Patreon where she shares her NSFW art, which
you say to this day, like it's going on right now?
And did delete some of her most recent AI-assisted works from Twitter/X. She said she stopped in August 2025. But to this day, she still uses AI on some of her commissions in her VGen portfolio and still posts on her alt. She's also running a Patreon where she shares her NSFW art, which is also AI-assisted. This is one of her most recent YCH commissions on VGen, September 19th, 2025. This was created long before August and has the same skill gap as the examples above, so I'm positive this is AI-assisted. She deleted this YCH offer on VGen, yet still does commissions with this YCH to this day. So listen, just if you're curious, YCH means your character here, right? So they're custom commissions. One offer she had on her page.
YCH is basically like they have like a template and they just put your character, they just draw your character in there, right? Like the Amogus booty dance. They'll just put your character in there, so it's like your character here. They just like draw it real fast. It's like a super fast. It's like a quick way to get something, I guess.
Which was YCH elbow, right? So your character here.
I assume they have quick return time, right?
And if someone with big boobs tries to touch their elbow.
Okay.
Elbows, yeah. I think you get the point. This is why it's sensitive content. So here we'd see 3 different YCH arts. Okay. I have to definitely censor that nipple. Okay. I'm saying this just to remind myself when I edit. But overall, the whole point is that all 3 of these art pieces were done after August 2025, and they're very heavily AI inspired. Oh my God. I actually know this VTuber. This is Alien Mixture, man. The document continues. She was posting previous to.
I think the best part about this is hearing Mujin's raw reaction to whatever he's looking at. I really hope this does not get me bonked in any way, shape, or form. Because I have a pretty good record of not getting bonked, but yes, this is exactly what it is.
Gather her audience on Patreon. You can see this also doesn't look like her real art, so most likely AI assisted. So
Right.
here we can see her posting on Twitter this sketch, right? 1 hour sketch.
You know what, Mujin? Preferably use black bars. Let's not take a single chance here. You're not getting anything out of keeping them there. Black bar it, brother. No, like that. Let's black bar it from now on. Sounds like a waste of money unless for some reason you actually can't do it yourself or you admire the artist. Yeah, I guess.
Saying remove the pasties on Patreon. So if you go subscribe to her Patreon, you'll get to see this art fully nude. This was the appeal.
Oh, yeah.
And it's still up on her Patreon to this day, even after this document came out. The document would continue. She also posted that she at least doesn't use AI, with frequently posted anti-AI content as well. So here we can see the meme she made about how she doesn't use AI, even though she makes.
Again, if you're an artist and you want to make anti-AI content, just know there will be people who do AI content or do anything like that or have a certain different opinion that will look through everything you do to make sure that you uphold that. It'll be from right now to whenever.
Ugly drawings.
That's what I'm saying.
Multiple different tweets she made targeting AI users.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I forgot about the white VTuber awards. Oh, no. I never talked about that whole thing, but that's so funny. Oh, I forgot about
calling
that.
them out and saying things like, an artist with a trained eye can notice you tracing over AI. Just a heads up. If you can normally draw, why are you tracing AI? You look like a sore loser. This is AI and the artist is lying. Do not be deceived. Unless they show an actual time lapse. I'm not stupid and your sketch is not a sketch.
Oh.
Always the AI sloppers.
Oh my gosh, bro. That's so crazy. How did this get involved?
Even including a drawing of her character with the shirt saying, fuck AI. The document would then say, she made this time-lapse post while still using AI in her workflow. She claimed to quit AI during August
that was really funny,
2025,
Chad.
but this was posted on June 17th. Fuck AI, but still use it? So here we can see a 15-second time-lapse of this drawing with her character saying, fuck AI on the shirt. And I mean, it's very, very clear here, right? That she's just drawing as if she's tracing. There's no reference whatsoever. It's like she's a genius that
you're either lying, referencing, or you're like the greatest artist to ever live. There's no in between.
knows exactly where to place the eyes, the mouth, everything without making a single mistake, right? Without any hint that this is actually a real drawing. As if
no, you don't get to call me that anymore. Sorry.
She's completely tracing an invisible layer here. Again, I
hope
really
you like it here with your new friends. I guess they don't know you like I. Sorry.
have to show you what
I really
an
like
actual
Invincible,
real
sorry.
time lapse looks like. Okay, I already used this example.
Gotta start the Latino VTuber Awards Rin. We could do that. I feel like Zentrea is just gonna win everything though. I'm not gonna lie. I just assume Zentrea is gonna win it all.
before another video, and I'll do it again. All right.
It'll be a mix between Zentrea, Mousy, and Cha-Cha. It'll just be those three winning every award.
It's this drawing right here, and this is its
Welcome to
time
the
lapse.
Latino
so as you can see, it's a very
Awards.
messy process, right? Nothing is set in
you're right,
stone
yeah.
until the very
Unfortunately, we have some very hard hitters in the Latin American community, or any kind of in the Hispanic community. We have some pretty big hard hitters. No one else is gonna win.
very end. Things are constantly moving, getting scaled, getting
Yeah, there you
cut.
go.
This is what a real time lapse looks like. And with Gami's time lapse, we're not seeing
Nemu.
that at all. A day
Is Nemu
before
Hispanic?
posting that very interesting time lapse,
Jesus Christ. Okay. You know what? I shout out to Mujin, chat. Shout out to Mujin. Mujin does a lot of work, especially when he has to do a whole bunch of censoring. Like, holy.
on June 16th, she'd post some,
Right from the
let's
start.
just say a cat girl sucking on something, right, on her alt account where she posted NSFW, and someone
Nemu's Argentinian. Shout out to Argentina.
would just straight up
up, Mr.
reply and
Showman? What's
say,
up,
this
dude?"
is AI made, don't call it art. The document would say, some people could already recognize the AI and call her out sometimes. This is how my Discord members knew, because the Turkish community is small, word spreads fast about dramas like this. She was already known to use AI in the Turkish community.
Ooh.
This is when we get to the next section. I will now show the DM shown in the document's introduction. This is when I reached out to No Name. Gami had told me that she had apologized to No Name about the fan art she did for her that looked like AI. Here are her DMs with No Name. The character she was drawing has very, in all caps,
I'm very tired.
big boobs, like F-cup big. She didn't seem inclined to change her sketch, using a weird excuse that doesn't make sense, possibly because the reference she's using had small breasts. No Name noticed how Gami's art quality didn't match her previous art and how she wasn't willing to do changes like boob size. These red flags led No Name to confront Gami, which then resulted in Gami admitting AI usage. This fan art was posted on the 29th of December, 2024, now deleted. So even before the confrontation, right, this was December 27th, 2024, Gami would send a sketch to No Name, and No Name would say, "Oh, Gami, what is your secret? How are you speeding like that? But Booba should be bigger." 3 days
Turkish community is small. The amount of Turkish people in the Yume shipping community is insane. Shout out to Turkey.
Later, No Name would realize that, wait a second, this actually looks way better than Gami's usual drawings, and would ask the question, "Gami, are you using AI as reference for your art?" After Gami would admit that, No Name would say, "Make sure to use different references as well, otherwise you can accidentally train yourself doing the same mistakes AI does, LMAO." To which Gami would say, "I would rather slip on ice than do AI mistakes on my own human-made art. I would never LMAO." No Name was not informed until they asked. There isn't an apology as Gami claimed either. No Name does not support AI and states it publicly, so Gami made fan arts using AI for No Name, knowing they're against it. That's why No Name asked if Gami was using AI, since they also found Gami's art suspicious and wanted to check with her.
I'm not gonna read it out loud, Meiji, but that's crazy.
All the artwork that was done for No Name is now deleted from Gami's profile. So look, so far, this already looks pretty damn bad for Gami, all right? But this next section that we're about to look at is titled Artwork Comparison, and I think you can kind of tell what we're about to get into.
Here we go.
This is where the document takes an in-depth look at showing us what her art used to look like before AI and how much it differed after AI. I need to censor that nipple again, just saying that for editing purposes.
Yeah, just to make sure. Yeah.
Anyway, this section would start with why I think Gami isn't only referencing, but referencing one-to-one or possibly tracing to this day. We'd get 3 reasons. The first one would be her art skills without using AI are vastly different from AI-assisted ones. The second one, she doesn't have any proper art videos showing her sketch phase, and her streams usually start from already half-done art. And the third reason, she doesn't show any of the images she says she's referencing from, so it's likely traced or one-to-one referenced. So here we can see that even after starting to reference art, she would still attempt to make her own art, right? Trying to maybe...
Okay, her real art... I think the worst part about it is that, like, it's not like she's a terrible artist, right? She's a good artist, but here's the thing with AI and here's the thing with AI and stuff like that. If you're gonna halfway commit to it, right? Which I'm not telling you either way which way to go, whether you should be using AI, whether you shouldn't be using AI. That's not my business. I'm not your dad. All I'm saying is that look at how good she is as an artist. I couldn't even draw this chain, let alone this whole entire thing. She could have gotten here naturally, right? And she's an artist. She's drawing all goddamn day. It's just a shame to look at what she could have gotten here naturally, bro. I don't know if it's impatience, if it's the attention she got, if the money was good. I don't know what it is, but it's just like it's such a shame to see because she would have gotten there, chat. I full-heartedly believe that she would have gotten there naturally.
Mix it in with the AI-assisted posts, but even then, they were very noticeable, right? It's not like they just blended in effortlessly. There's a drawing from November 19th, 2025, in which you can see a clear gap in skill compared to the one posted on December 1st,
combination of multiple things,
as if it was 2 different people. We already saw the second example with fan art for Yoklash, but there will be way more examples here. I think the biggest difference here are the complex poses. She has a basic understanding of anatomy, but not complex enough to be able to draw something like this effortlessly. This is, of course, without us mentioning the...
I know it's AI. I do. I'm just saying, I'm a fan of Lily. I kind of want it. I kind of want it. I'm a fan of Lily, chat. What do you want from me? It's not my fault.
Incredible shading, right? The rendering here that is usually only seen with people who have been doing this for a very long time. What's even worse here is this comparison of these two.
Is that Scoochen? That is Scoochen. Damn. Has Scoochen reacted to this? I feel like she would. She reacts to Mujin. I wonder what she's gonna say when she sees this, because Scoo's an artist. Damn, calling me a perv lady. Are staring back.
Drawings, which were both commissions on Mujin.
They looked at me first.
Okay, both of these were paid for. The first one, made in December 2024, looks to be somewhat her art style. It is a fairly simple drawing. The second one, though, made only 2 months afterwards, could have been AI assisted, most notably with the posing and the rendering, because it's not as flat as the first drawing. But worst of all,
I would, oh, Jesus, I can hear Scoo yelling and roasting this. I can too. The worst part is that must suck for Scoo. Because Scoo is an artist, she literally could have just saved her money and drew it herself. Because I don't know if you guys have actually seen Scoo's art. Dude, she's an insane artist. She's really good. That's gotta suck. That's like if I recorded a song and I send it off to get mixed and it comes back. Like, I don't know if anyone has actually heard AI music. I have. I listen to some AI music, but I can tell it's AI music by the way that it's not mixed. Like, the mixing in AI songs is really, really bad. But, like, I feel like the average person won't hear it or they won't care, right? But since I was an audio engineer, I have an audio engineer, I have a degree in it. I know what it's supposed to sound like. So it's like if I record a song and I send it off to get mixed and mastered, like $200-$300, get it back, and it's like, some AI did it, and it's like all the mids are cut out. It's panning for literally no reason and stuff like that. I would feel pretty upset. Like, it's like, dude, I might as well have just done it myself. You know what I'm saying? I would be upset at that. You know, as a really good artist, she's a magician, bro. she's so talented. Nice, dude. As an artist who commissioned an artist to draw my OC and they give me an AI reference, I would genuinely feel so scammed and start crying. And the amount of money, too, like $150 for like a small picture. These pictures are probably like $150 easy. Bro, you know how much? Chat, that's probably a Kita-san Black right there. That Nangong's coming out. I could have gotten Tong Tong with that money. I could have gotten Tong Tong and her weapon with that money. And I'd probably still have enough to get Rosie, you know what I'm saying?
In all of this is her deleted.
I would cry. I'm slurs like gang. Honestly, you'd be justified.
The document would say, after saying she was going to delete her heavy reference from AI artworks, she deleted these art pieces from her Twitter. And if you're watching this with your own two eyes and not doing chores right now, you can very clearly see the massive, staggering difference between this kind of art style and the ones we just saw above that involved her using her actual own two hands without referencing
You're pretty
AI.
talented.
And also bear in mind, according to the document, this first image that we already saw earlier with the fucked up fingers was a paid commission. Someone paid money for this. Someone paid money for Gami to generate an art piece using AI. This is when we get to the conclusion. I am positive that Gami still uses AI in her workflow, despite saying she regrets it and that she quit in August 2025. As you can see the document, she was still posting AI-assisted commission work on December 1st, 2025. I think the customers and her followers deserve to have transparency on her workflow. Not everyone wants to buy AI art or AI-assisted art. I hope this becomes
the difference between the drawings isn't the only massive thing here.
It's an opportunity for her to finally come clean and draw without using AI.
My goodness.
Or if she continues using it, at least disclose it in her profiles and stop her activities on VGen where people come to buy human-made art.
Yeah.
To Gami.
Right.
I was quite happy to have a Turkish artist friend and I really wanted to believe you. Since the Turkish art community is already constantly in chaos, it felt really nice to have someone to talk to. But as time passed by, I realized you weren't being honest with me or with yourself. I'm normally not a person who writes docs like these, but I felt secondhand
Google
responsibility
Docky.
about this since I'm also Turkish, from the same community. I really hope you can come clean. That's right. You can do anything you want in your life, guys, but never mess with a Turkish person's sense of identity and national pride.
Fair,
Otherwise,
fair.
you're going to have a Google Doc written about you.
That's
in any
fair,
case,
dude. That's
this
fair.
document
That's fair. I
made things
respect that.
clear. Gami was not the person she was
Take
claiming
pride
that
in
she
yourselves,
actually
Chad.
was.
Take pride.
She was very clearly using AI to assist in her work and sometimes tracing it one-to-one. Hell, I think sometimes she would just post it without really tracing anything. I mean, this Shy Lily drawing is crazy, bro. Like, there's no way she actually drew that when she was drawing things like this barely a year before. But overall, of course, the biggest reason for this document having been made is because she was charging people money, both on Patreon and VGen.
And it's a
all
pretty
while
penny, too.
promising
Pretty penny money.
human-made art. This is not the case here at all. But Ruru wasn't done yet. On February 19th, just a day after that
Google
initial doc
Docky.
had dropped, they would reply to their quote tweet and say, after this doc, some people reached out to me to tell their experiences with Gami, including ghosting, hosting raffles but not drawing the winner, etc. Read here. This leads us to the second Google Doc, in which people...
Which I will say, the whole art thing, in art versus AI, you're going to have people who will still pay for art. This stuff right here that they're saying is going to drive people more towards AI. Ghosting, hosting raffles, and not giving people what they want, stuff like that. That's going to be the quickest way to people. Like, it's not even the quality that's going to get people to AI. It's just how the artists act. Because there are countless stories of people just getting scammed out of artists. I just seen Kitsu make a post about an artist problem that she had. Like, it's honestly it's the same thing with like translations and localizers. AI isn't the route that people want to take. But at a certain point, the real artists are just kind of pushing people away from them, right? Like, I don't know what to say, chat. Like, lock in. Kirsche also had issues. Yeah, Kirsche gets the course is always getting screwed over by artists. Like, at a certain point, you gotta lock in. If you're an artist, like if you do this for a living, what else do you have to do? Sit down and lock in. I don't understand, bro. Especially if you're a big artist. Low-key people just stop scamming. Like, bro, only thing you gotta do is draw. Exactly, Meiji. Meiji is a person in my channel. In my chat. She's an artist. Just draw, bro. I don't understand. Literally just draw. But for some reason, they always got an attitude, I guess. I don't know. I've had great experiences with the artists that I've worked with. But again, it's only like 3 of them.
The winner, etc.
It's only like 3 or 4 of them.
This leads us to the second Google Doc, in which people who actually hired her or worked with her exposed the terrible client-to-vendor relationships that they experienced. Starting with the first section, rushed commission
Chung's
followed
supposed to make
by
you happy.
ghosting.
If it doesn't, don't do
VTuber
comms.
Mochi Mochi
That's so
have
real.
commissioned Gami on VGen after seeing her commission for another VTuber in September 2024. Mochi wanted a similar styled commission from her and commissioned Gami, but the piece she received didn't look similar in style to what she asked for and seemed rushed. So she was asking for something that looked like this, right? The drawing on the left, something with that same style and
You know what's the crazy thing about that? This kind of looks like one piece together. This looks like the evil side, and this looks like the happy side. Well, it's kind of cool.
type of rendering. What she got on the right, I mean, can you even call this a sketch? Like, this is incomplete as fuck.
Yes, this is a sketch. This is a sketch. This is finished. This would be like your update picture, right? Like, hey, this is, I just want to send you a quick update. This is what I'm looking at. What do you think? Is this what you're feeling? Hit me back. And once you hit me back, we'll finish it. You tell them, yeah, that's good. All right, cool. And then they draw into this quality. At least that's how it's been when I with the artists that I've worked with. They always send me
call
updates.
This a sketch? Like, this
I
is
love updates.
incomplete
They're
as
great.
fuck. It also barely looks anything like Mochi's.
Wait, let me see.
Like, this is incomplete as fuck. It also barely looks.
Where did the pink hair go? What? What the hell? Wait, where did her pink hair go? And the ears are down. She looks more like Yai Miko here.
Call this a sketch? Like, this is incomplete as fuck. It also.
Where did her? What? Oh, talk about taking some liberties. You know what I'm saying, chat?
Barely looks anything
Talk about taking a little bit of liberties.
Mochi even bothered sketching what she wanted, how she wanted her character to look with her ears down.
Yeah.
This doesn't look like that at all. It looks like some sort of weird beanie. This is when
Looks like a
Mochi
squid
would
head.
message Gami on Vijin, saying, I have a question about my surprise delivery. I ordered it based off the image I saw posted on your Twitter. When I went to see mine today, I was very unhappy about the quality. Is there a reason why the two photos are both so different in quality? I also noticed her bottom right thigh forgot to be colored and right below her thigh bracelet.
Yeah, I
Yes,
can't.
that's true. I mean, this wasn't even colored, dude. Gami would reply with, she had a very filled up design. That is why I had to pay more attention. My personal opinion is that I shaded yours more, but if you are unhappy with it, I can retouch on it later this week. This is when Mochi would say, I'm sorry, but I feel like this piece was rushed and not treated with the same care. I circled the part of the thigh where it is missing color, it's just white. The mochi and the ears also feel rushed. You can say you shaded mine more, but the thighs are not shaded at all. I'm just a bit upset because I was really looking forward to this piece. Thank you for offering to retouch it, I really appreciate it. The document will continue. Unfortunately, after this point, Gami ghosted Mochi and the commission review period ended on Vijin.
No.
Mochi didn't receive any touch-ups as promised or any updates. Mochi left a 1-star review. The document would also prove that Mochi actually paid for this commission, $45 for an incomplete sketch that doesn't even look passable. But I wish that's where it ended, because the next section features a giveaway winner that didn't get their art. The document would say, Gami and a couple of other artists had made a studio called Mellow Studio back in 2023, June. Gami was drawing, someone else was rigging the art, and they were offering VTuber assets, models,
Isn't that hard to just
Around
draw?
January 2024, they created a chibi VTuber called Mellow Chibi. With Gami's suggestion, they have made an art plus rig raffle for these chibi models to boost up their new product. Raffle was held on the 7th of January 2024. The winner didn't get their model for 10 months, so they decided to text on October 19th, 2024. The winner ended up not getting their art. After 1 year, they also didn't even get a reply from Gami.
What?
The rigger was very upset at Gami for not providing the art since it was a collab raffle, so they stopped working with Gami. Mellow Studio became inactive. The rigger also reached out to the winner. So here we can see the DMs between the winner and Gami. They reached out in October after 10 months, and they were very polite, by the way. Hey, it's been a little bit, and I was wondering if this was still happening. If not, it's okay. I just wanted to know. Smiley face.
Smile.
Gami would say, it will be happening. Yes, I have you in my calendar. I have picked back school, so I've been quite busy. The winner would say, oh, that's okay. Take your time. I was just curious. Thank you so much. 5 months later, in March 2025, the winner would reach out again saying, hello, I just wanted to check in. I in no way want to bother you. I'm just curious about when we expect to get started. I recently had a design update, so I just wanted to check in. Again, no rush at all. I know you said I was on your calendar. I'm just curious. So obviously, very unprofessional and
I'm not an artist, but even I would
As the document would say, the rigger would end up reaching out to the winner on Twitter saying,
I've never heard. Actually, I have. Again, it's just another Kirsche story. I think Kirsche's longest one was like a few years of art she didn't get that she finally ended up getting. I couldn't do it, bro. I legitimately couldn't do it. Like, if you couldn't, we need to agree on a timetable, and if you pass that, dude, I need my money back, chat. I don't play about my money. That's the one thing the streets never played about. It's about the money.
saying, yo, Gami hasn't even started drawing your model. I reached out a couple times. She doesn't seem to really care. So instead, I'll draw it and rig it. The rigger would cut all contact with Gami, but Gami would then go ahead and continue hosting raffles anyway.
Shout out to that rigger, by the way, to take it upon themselves to make that person whole, you know, getting them the art that they were going to get and then ended up rigging it themselves. That's pretty cool. Shout out to that guy. That guy seems really sick.
It is crazy. Like, how shameless can you get?
Not starting in 5 months is insane. No, not starting in 10 months, replying that it's coming, and then another 5 months, it still didn't come out.
We would then see Gami's commission queue for Vijin. This is her queue for paid commissions, right? I pay her money, she puts it in her queue, and this is where
Dude. Okay. I don't even know. Let's make it. Let's make it what? I don't know. Let's give them $100 each, because the cheapest thing I seen on there was like $100. Or let's say 50. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 22 times. That's $1,000 if you just and let's say it's 150 and make it a 22. That's $3,000 of work right here. Some clients have been waiting since 23 and on paid commissions. This stuff is paid. You have this money. Like, bro, come on. That's money waiting for you on the table. Like, how do you just leave money like that?
I can see the progress.
I don't get it.
There are commissions that have been there
Had my mom
since
sent her, especially with
October
money, I would be ruthless, bro.
2023 that she hasn't even begun to work on.
Like, chat, I'm not saying I would ever use like I'm saying I would never use AI anytime soon, but legitimately with the prices that these are at now, I'm one legitimately just one. I am one scam and one non-communicative artist away from using AI. I really am, because these prices are insane.
Oh my god, this just keeps getting worse. The next section would have yet another unsatisfied customer.
But my mama
paying
raised
over
me better.
$1,000 just to get this VTuber model. Customer paying over just keeps getting worse. The next section would have yet another unsatisfied customer paying over $1,000.
$1,000. Someone gave you a K. You got a stack from one person.
Just
a whole
to get
rack.
this VTuber model in 3 different outfits. On the third outfit, the client asked for thigh-high socks, and this is what they got. Some sort of a weird...
This kind of looks like horse feet.
Gradient, as if the model had like put her feet in some very hot water in a cartoon or something. It looks weird. And finally, just as you've been telling yourself, no, this can't get worse, right? She can't get more shameless.
At the very least, you can kind of hide your feet. Like, I don't show the bottom of, like, literally, you would assume that my whole model is just like my chest and down, and that's it. That's how little I show of my model. But like, I have a full body model.
Than this, well. The section's called Undelivered Models.
Oh, no.
During October 2024, Gami launched a project in their studio called Fawn Studio. How many studios did she make, man? This is a studio that makes VTuber models and Gami's the artist. The project was called Fruit Gals, and it was an audition-based VTuber model giveaway with some rules. So look, this was structured in a way to resemble VTuber agencies where you audition, and if you're accepted, you get a VTuber model. You wouldn't get a salary, but you'd keep all your donations, and you'd be part of a group. But if you decide to leave, you obviously can't keep the model. It's owned by the studio. One of the girls that auditioned and got accepted would reach out to Ruru and would talk about how she and the other girls were completely and entirely misled. So essentially, Gami would be posting these updates, right, of these different models that she was drawing up, and they were very excited. But then at some point, the updates would just stop, and Gami...
She gathered us in Zumi's model? Oh, wait. Is it the Zumi I know?
...would stop communicating consistently, leaving all the members in the dark for months. Here we can see one of the girls deciding to reach out to raise her concerns on behalf of everyone else in the group.
We'll talk about it
Hey,
after.
Gami, I'm sending this message on behalf of me and the girls, and I would like to say that we are all tired of unresponsiveness, lack of communication, broken promises, and lack of care. It was actually a very considerate message, with this person even saying, I hope what you take out of this will be, don't bite off more than you can chew. It genuinely came from a good place, but more importantly, one thing she would say is, we'd have understood if the models had taken a month to finish, but it has now been 8 months. The document would specify the reason why they're saying we would have understood if the models had taken a month to finish, but it has now been 8 months, is because Fawn Studio had posted that they can finish and deliver models in around a week. That is insane, by the way. Okay, if you want a custom drawn model that is rigged and ready to go, you need months, man. There's no one in the world that can do this in a week. After this message, both Gami and the rigger involved with the studio would respond. They would both somewhat say the same thing, so let's just read what Gami had to say.
Sure.
I apologize for the lack of communication on my end. I'm very overworked and I do my best on keeping up with everything. Art is my only income, so I have to keep working most of the time. That being said, I have finished 3 of the models and already have sent them over to blank, which is the rigger. I'm not blaming her in this since she also has her own commissions that she has to work on. Please do keep in mind that Fruit Gals is a passion project on my end. I do not gain anything from making you models. I understand you. I really do.
Okay. If you shouldn't do this, I'll say this. If you have something that you're making money on, which is making models, drawing, art, and stuff like that, I feel like you don't really have time for passion projects, right? Like, because you don't want to get taken away from your actual work, right? The thing that puts money on the table. I don't know, man, because I don't know, man.
But I'm booked until September and I'm drawing constantly. For the last model also, I have started drawing her.
Spanish
I don't usually have the time to just sit down for days and work only on one thing since I have commissions that hit me constantly. I was hoping to finish her later this month since I'm done with my year for school. Nobody lied about anything. I told you guys from the start that I would do my best and I'm doing so. I still am sorry that you guys felt not cared for. I never wanted this. All I wanted was to be able to help you guys grow and make content the way you guys wish to make. The document would then say, but after this, again, there were no updates.
Oof.
A couple months later, on August 1st, 2025, we'd see 2 messages from both girls separately saying, hey, I'm out. Okay, this is clearly not happening. I don't want to do this anymore. And Gami wouldn't even bother replying. So look, by now, this wasn't just about AI anymore. This was about Gami being a bad person to work with, very badly treating some of her clients and having this habit of empty promises, of doing these giveaways that she never honored. At this point, she was officially a compulsive liar in the eyes of the community. There was nothing she could say that would make anyone believe her. This is when her viral post saying
there
that
it is. Gami uses AI
drawings,
drawings.
But at least I don't use AI would get community noted. And the community note would just straight up say, Gami uses AI for her drawings. Like just straight up, no bullshit. She uses AI. Shut the fuck up. Linking Ruru's initial Twitter post and the first Google document we went through, obliterating her reputation, her career, her online presence in just one sentence. Very few community notes can compare to the savagery here. But of course, you might be wondering, what about Gami herself? Does she have a response? I mean, she clearly saw this. She got community noted very humiliatingly. What did she have to say? And how did it manage to make things worse somehow?
Oh, no.
Gami would post this on her Twitter on February 20th, 2026. One day after the second Google Doc had dropped, saying, I have done a speed paint to address the AI allegations. This was done completely live on Twitch with a full display screen showing my entire process. The link to the VOD is down below. I'm aware of the other things being said and everything will be addressed soon. There's a lot to go over and I want to make sure I address everything. This has been a lot to take in, so I thank you for your patience. The top reply here that almost ratioed her would say, no one is denying you can draw. You draw very well. The thing is, none of this is reflected on these. And it's scummy to say you are against AI when admitting to have been making drawings very heavily AI referenced.
Yeah, there it is.
Just say in your profile use AI as part of your process.
There it is.
Additionally, even during her stream, it would be clear that she was using AI references to draw the thighs. You can see this right here. This was on her own monitor. It didn't help. If anything, it only made things worse. Facing even more backlash after that disastrous stream, Gami would quote tweet the second document that Ruru had written and would say, sorry for the wait, linking her own Google Doc.
Google Doc.
This would be one of the shortest Google Docs I have seen in my life. It could have very easily been a tweet, but she would say, I'm sorry for taking this long to address all of this. I had some time to myself and had to calm down before I made a statement on the matters at hand. I would like to start by apologizing to all my clients that feel wronged by me using AI as reference for their artworks. I'll be transparent in my art processes going forward and have clear communication with my clients to make sure they're satisfied with the commissions they will be getting. If any of my current ongoing commissions that have paid for their commissions want their funds refunded, I'll be refunding your funds.
Ooh,
also, if any of my commissioners want their progress recorded for full transparency, if it means they will feel more secure about their commission, that's where the sentence ends. That's literally where the sentence ends. Like there's literally a fucking period at the end. Okay, well, English is not her first language.
If any commissioners want their process recorded to full transparency, it means they'll feel more secure about their commission. You know what that kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of a joke that Shuan had made. The women can't live with them. Anyway, that's what it feels like.
But hey, at least we can be sure she didn't use ChatGPT, okay? She actually wrote this herself. She would then say in parentheses, I will also be posting them on YouTube as an unlisted playlist, so there will be a record of all the work I will be doing. This is not an excuse. I've been really busy with real life stuff.
I know a lot of people have a lot of objections when it comes to AI. I think using AI to translate should be fine. Write it out in Turkish, translate it to English using AI. I think it's fine.
And some of my work has been rushed because of this. I've been very
better than using Google Translate, that's for sure.
Help on my scheduling moving forward. I'm also thankful for people who have patiently waited for their commissions. I'm sorry it took as long as it did for me to get them done. I'm sorry for disappointing everyone, and I promise to do better moving forward. So look, not only was this
Right.
response grammatically a disaster, it was a disaster in and of itself.
Oh,
It
boy.
didn't address anything. It was very vague, and I mean, you don't have to listen to me say this. Ruru said it themselves, replying to her post, ratioing her, and saying, "You didn't address the raffle winner or the past clients who purchased AI-assisted work without knowing. If rebuilding trust is the goal, taking full accountability is the first step to do that. I believe those situations should be acknowledged and refunded properly."
Man, you
as
ain't seeing that
well.
money again.
That's a very good point.
You
What
ain't
about the
getting that
raffle
money
winners?
back.
What about the
That
people
money
that you
gone.
gave empty promises
getting
to?
that
What's
shit back,
ironic
bro.
here is that she wasn't
Ain't
quote tweeting
that
the
cash
first
back.
document. She was quote tweeting the other document that talks about her terrible communication with clients, with the
Right.
raffle winners. I mean, honestly, at this point, deleting your account would have been better than putting this Google Doc out to the public. Like, what the hell is
And
this?
might as well.
100,000 views and barely any interaction. People were
88
done with this. They had already
likes.
made up their minds. The proof was there, and there was
Oh,
nothing she
no.
could do except take accountability, and she failed to do even that. On the original quote tweet that Ruru had made, with the initial document exposing Gami, you'd see many people in the replies pretty much disowning her, right?
There's
they might have come
Yoshi.
across her fan art, they might have liked it before, they might have interacted
Oh,
with
no.
her, but now this was over. This is not someone they wanted anything to do with. After this whole debacle, Gami would continue posting on her Twitter. And yes, it does seem like she's not using AI. It does seem like it was, drawn actually by her, but the trust is lost. No accountability means no forgiveness. And it's going to be very hard for her to build back up what she already had. This is especially considering that her VGen got suspended.
Yep,
she
there
can't
it
take
is.
commissions anymore.
There it
and she's
is.
essentially lost the fan base.
Like I'm saying, chat, all this could have been avoided had she stayed the path. Had she stayed the current course and not veered off to try, I don't even know what the answer would have been. Maybe greed, maybe attention. No one knows what went through her mind where she ended up committing to essentially selling her soul, right? Selling her soul for quick cash. Had she not done that, let's say how long it's been. I don't know, a few years, like a year or two, like probably 2 years. You could have quite as easily just have gotten there by that
She had
point.
taken years to build. Look, I can't predict the future. I don't know where we'll be years from now, and I don't know whether there will be a day where society will actually accept AI as a whole. However, if you want to use AI
I think AI, the acceptance of AI is probably closer than you might think. Like, I don't know, man. There's because especially with now, there's definitely a lot of people who are more open to using it and are not, how do I say it? Are not being shy about it, right? People using AI for thumbnails or art pieces or stuff like that. Like it's coming closer than people might think. So it's like, I don't know what to tell you, bro. I'm sorry.
as reference, or hell, as very heavy inspiration to your art, at least specify that. At least be honest about that. If someone's willing to pay for that, then hey, good on them. It's their money. They can do whatever they want with it. But don't pretend to be someone you're not, because that's just what a scammer does. And
Right.
you don't want to be labeled as a scammer, because if you are, you end up like Gami. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you want to see actual amazing art that is not AI assisted in any way,
Mujin.
featuring my character, as well as exclusive videos posted every month, then make sure to check out my Stacked page. Link in the description and the pinned comment. Prices start at $1. I'll see you in the
Wow.
next video, whenever that is, and I love you so much. Platonically. Take care.
No, the hell
Mwah.
it's not. Absolutely, it's not platonically. Man, that shit ain't platonically. Come here, brother. Let me smooch you real fast. Imagine being an AI artist, an AI using loser. Anyway, here's a prompt to generate a big booty puppy girl. You didn't need that last part, I don't think. I don't think. I don't think you needed that last part. Anyways, chat, that was a whole thing. Yeah. Moral of the story: commitment. Chat, I think it's about commitment. That's what the moral of the story is, just commitment. Anyways, chat, let me know how you guys feel. Comment, subscribe. I'll catch you gamers in the next one. Bye.